Bideawee's Feral Cat Initiative presents How to Make a Simple Foam Board Winter Shelter for Cats. This shelter, originally designed by Karin Hancock of Port Washington, New York, requires cutting and assembly, but you don't need special skills or tools. It's an elegant, economical design created from a single piece of 2-foot by 8-foot foam insulation board. The finished shelter measures 2 feet by 2 feet and features a built-in overhang and is raised off the ground. It will sleep 2 or even 3 cats. To build this shelter, you'll need a 2-foot by 8-foot, 2-inch thick foam insulation board, a measuring tool, a T-square is great for this, a felt tip marker, a box cutter, a bread knife or fine-tooth saw, such as this hacksaw, exterior grade adhesive caulk for plastic, in a squeeze tube or one that requires a caulking gun, long, thin nails, upholstery pins, or construction screws, about 3 inches long, and optional self-stick floor tiles, contact paper, and camouflage paint. The foam boards are inexpensive and available at hardware stores. It's also possible to get surplus boards for free from a contractor. Measure and mark the board according to the pattern. Cutting foam board is a little tricky. It's easy to rip chunks of it out as you're cutting if you're not careful. You can make a cleaner cut by first making a pilot cut using the box cutter and a straight edge. Then, complete the cut using a knife or saw. A power saw will give you the smoothest cut, but hand tools work fine too. Draw the doorway on the front wall. A 5-inch square doorway will be big enough for even a large cat to come and go, while discouraging larger critters from using the shelter. A small doorway will also minimize heat loss.
Nice. See? Big enough for a kitty cat.
Position the doorway off to one side to minimize drafts. Place it high enough to keep the bedding inside and low enough to keep the warm air inside. To assemble, start by gluing one of the long side walls to the base or floor. Put a generous ribbon of caulk on the top of the base, about 1 inch from the edge. Be sure there's a continuous line of glue. This will prevent drafty gaps in the seam. Place the side wall on the caulk and squish it in a little to distribute it more evenly and increase its holding power. Next, get ready to attach the front wall by putting a ribbon of caulk on the side wall 5 inches from the front edge. Remember, you want the front wall to be recessed to create a front porch. You'll also put a ribbon of caulk on the base. Now you're ready to put the front wall in place and press it firmly against the base and the side wall, squishing the caulk as flat as you could get it. You can hold the walls together as they dry by inserting a couple of 3-inch long nails through the side wall and into the front wall. You can also use screws or upholstery pins. The nails in this shelter will remain in place as a sort of mini rebar. Attach the back wall in the same way as you did the front wall, only it will be flush with the edge of the base and the side wall. For the remaining side, squeeze ribbons of caulk 1 inch from the edge of the base and down the sides of the front and back walls. Press the second side wall in place and secure with nails. Before we glue the roof on, we're going to add some optional self-stick tiles to protect the floor from the cat's claws as they burrow into their bedding. If you want to protect the inside walls too, you can add vinyl paper as wallpaper. To add the roof, put a thick ribbon of caulk all around the tops of the 4 walls. Press the roof in place and insert nails for added security. If you notice any gaps where you can see light through any of the seams, you can touch them up with additional caulk. We'll add straw bedding after the caulk has completely dried. To glue the feet to the base, squeeze out a good amount of adhesive caulk on a foot, then squish it around on one corner of the bottom of the base to distribute the caulk more evenly. You can make the feet even more secure by putting a nail through the foot and into the bottom of the base. Et voilà! You can leave the shelter as is or camouflage it with exterior paint that's formulated for plastics. Paint will also help to prevent the shelter from becoming a scratching post.